Okay, for this tips and tricks, we're going to be talking about the differences between an action versus a response. So if you are in the quest phase, for example, and you're at step 2, which is staging, and you're revealing encounter cards, and you reveal a treachery that you want to cancel, and you have a test of will in your discard pile, you cannot play Dwarven Tomb to pull that back, because Dwarven Tomb is an action, and a test of will is a response. So you do not have an action window right now. That is a red step. So if you wanted to have that test of will in your hand in case you revealed that treachery, you would have had to played Dwarven Tomb before staging. Once you're in staging, the only thing you can play is something that has a response. You cannot take an action until after the staging step. Okay, let's get into some Peril. Alright, let's go out of the mines and into Pelargir. We're going to be playing Peril and Pelargir, and to start it, we just pull a few things out of the encounter deck, and then on side 1B, 6 quest points, but we're doing battle questing, which means when we quest, we're using our attack instead of willpower. And then when revealed, we each got to put a copy of Harbor Thug into the staging area. So questing with attack instead of willpower is tricky because you still have the combat phase, so you still need to use your attack during the combat phase as well. So tactics is suddenly very good. It's almost like the designers said, you know what, most solo people aren't playing a lot of tactics. Let's force them to. So there's a couple really good cards that will help you do battle questing. And the quest has some unique problems that we have to deal with. But let's take a look at the cards we have in play at the moment. So the Leaping Fish is the active location, and then Elkaron's Scroll is also in play. So they work together. So Elkaron's Scroll, if unattached, it goes into the staging area, and you have to exhaust a hero to grab it again. And then when a hero with Elkaron's Scroll attached is damaged by an enemy attack, then that enemy grabs the scroll from you. Then the Leaping Fish says, if Elkaron's Scroll is attached to a hero forced at the beginning of the quest phase, we're going to discard X cards from the top of the encounter deck, where X is the number of players, and then we add each enemy discarded by this effect to the staging area. So the strategy here is to drop the scroll. Get rid of it. Let an enemy hold on to it so the Leaping Fish doesn't trigger if you can't clear the Leaping Fish on turn 1. So you want to get damaged by an enemy. The enemy in play is a 2/3/1/3 thug. And then when the player whose hero has the scroll raises his threat, he's going to engage you. So I'm going to put that scroll on Gimli. My deck has Dine Ironfoot again, so while he's ready, all my dwarves get +1 attack. So that helps them quest. And then if we have to quest with willpower, he also boosts that. Thalin, during battle questing, is actually questing for 3 with Dine ready. So that's great. Plus he can do some damage to the enemies as they are revealed from the encounter deck. And a lot of these enemies have pretty low hit points, so that's great. And we're going to play with Gimli. So he can either battle quest or regular quests for 3. I'm going to be using the alt art version we got from a Gen Con kit or a Fellowship kit or something. And I'm using my custom tracker, resources across the top, and threat on the bottom. So I want to find in my opening hand some good questing, but I also want events that let me kill enemies in staging. These enemies, when they engage you, they do nasty things. When they attack you, they do nasty things. So my deck is full of ways to kill enemies in the staging area or to kill them before they can attack me. So I'm really hoping to see some of those cards. Okay, so we start with Vassal of the Windlord. He can quest for 3 in battle questing. Very happy to see that. And then we also get Faramir. He's going to be very useful on the final stage of this quest. Okay, Quick Strike. So exhaust a character you control to immediately declare it an attacker and resolve its attack against an eligible enemy. So that's a way to keep an enemy from attacking you and kill it. Okay, we got Radagast. So that's a 1 of. He costs 5. He quests for 2 when it's regular questing, but he also gains a resource every round and can pay for creature cards or heal creature cards. Yes! Fresh Tracks. Okay, after an enemy is added to the staging area, deal 1 damage to that enemy, and then we ignore it when we make engagement checks. That's very, very helpful on turn 1. I am very happy to see that. And then We Are Not Idle exhausts X dwarf characters to add X resources to a hero's resource pool and draw 1 card. That's what it used to say. It's been errated to say exhaust X dwarf heroes. But you can actually choose 0. You can just exhaust 0 heroes if you want and still draw the card. But that's great. That's a good one. So I have 3 copies of that in this deck. That helps me thin the deck if I don't need the resources, and maybe I can generate some resources on a certain hero if I need to. So yeah, that card has an errata. Oh, okay, the Envoy of Pelargir. That art. I got this letter, and I'm leaning on a barrel, I guess. All right, but she after she enters play, add 1 resource to a Gondor or noble hero's resource pool. So she really only costs 1. In my hero lineup, the only noble character is Gimli. Dyne Ironfoot gets the noble trait in a later version, but I can spend 2 resources and then add a resource back to Gimli. So let's get that Vassal of the Windlord in play. He's going to be questing for 3 for 1 resource. You cannot beat that. And then, we'll play that Envoy of Pelargir, give the resource back to Gimli. And then, here's the thing. So, with the Leaping Fish, I could be adding an enemy, and I really don't want to have to engage more than 2 enemies. So I really want to play this Fresh Tracks. So I need to get a leadership resource on Dyne, so I'm going to exhaust him and play We Are Not Idle. That will let me choose 1 dwarf hero to collect 1 resource, and then I get to draw a card. And I draw... Oh, okay, another Vassal of the Windlord. Okay, I'm gonna hold off on playing that. Okay, so for the Leaping Fish, you discard the top card. If it was an enemy, I would have had to add it. It was not an enemy, thank goodness. And then I'm going to send these 3 characters to the quest. They're questing for 9, thanks to Dyne's boost. And we get the same card. It would push all Brigard enemies to the staging area. If it cannot, it surges. And it surges into a... Here we go, perfect. The Zealous Traitor. He would have engaged me. He's nasty. Look at that effect he has. So he takes a damage from Thalion. And then I have that 1 resource, so I can play this Fresh Tracks. My deck is also full of Hail of Stones. It's got Sneak Attack Gandalf. I have lots of ways to try to deal damage to these enemies when they're revealed. Okay, well, I make enough progress to clear the Leaping Fish, so losing Elkron's Scroll is not as huge of a deal, because I did get rid of it on turn 1. But I think I'm still going to go with my plan, because I don't want to lose my Envoy. I'm actually going to take this undefended. There's me remembering to pay for that Fresh Tracks. So I'm going to take it undefended, which is really risky. Any damage dealt by this attack is dealt to the hero with Elkron's Scroll. Okay, well, that's great, because I was planning on putting it on Gimli anyway. So that's a big part of the first turn strategy of this quest. Put Elkron's Scroll on a hero that you want to take damage. Gimli gets boosted by taking damage, so now when he's questing for 6 if Dyne is ready, which is really great. So this thug grabs the scroll from me, and then if I kill the thug, the scroll is going to go back up to the staging area. You do not even need to be holding the scroll to advance to the next stage, so there's no rush to get that back. And I get another eagle, the Winged Guardian, defends for 4, 1 hit point, and then you can spend a tactics resource after it defends to keep it in play. Okay, so I have 2 really expensive allies I want to get into play. And it's very nerve-wracking holding on to cards in this quest, because there is a shadow that makes you discard your hand. And it's just incredibly nerve-wracking knowing I need to wait a few rounds to pay for anything. So I'm only going to put in another Vassal of the Windlord. I'm questing for a lot against 1. That's not bad. So if a location is discarded, I have to raise my threat while that's around. But yeah, I make enough progress. So let's just advance to stage 2. 2Bs, 13 progress. It's battle questing again. We have to hold the scroll to get out of here. And then we're going to attach the scroll to the enemy with the highest engagement cost. So that's no big deal. And then let's travel to this place. It's 4 quest points. And I'm still engaged with this thug. So he's attacking for 3. I'm going to play Quick Strike, so I don't need to worry about a shadow turning up that's going to wreck me. So I can immediately declare somebody an attacker, and I'm going to declare Gimli. I forget to exhaust him here. I remember in a second, and the shadow would have not done anything. But hey, you don't know. All right, so Elkron's Scroll goes back up to staging. Dyne's going to exhaust to grab it. And then I remember I should have exhausted Gimli to do that attack. So there we go. There's me remembering that. And let's go into the next round, folks. So the active location has 4 quest points, and 13 need to be made on the quest card itself. I need to be holding the scroll, and I need to do battle questing. All right, so we're going to go up to 33 threat. reset the die to my 0, and let's draw a card. All right, after an ally leaves play, draw 2 cards. That's okay. I'm nervous. I'm very, very nervous. I can't really cancel any attacks right now. I can't kill an enemy in staging. I could lose my hand, and I really, really need Faramir for stage 3. That is just a key card. So sending on the quest 6 from Gimli, 3 from Thalion, and 6 from the Vassal of the Windlord. So I'm sending a total of 15. Pretty crazy. And we get the Pickpocket, Bardley's favorite card. So when he attacks, I'm going to need to have a resource picked out of my pocket, and then he's also going to pick a card out of my hand at random. So yeah, 2 hit points. So it'd be really nice to have any of those cards that I could just deal 1 damage to him right now and kill him. Okay, so I make a lot of progress, 12 progress total. So 8 go on the quest. And then there's nothing I can do. He is going to engage me, and he is going to attack. So that means I lose a resource, and I lose a card at random. This is what I'm talking about. I'm very, very nervous that I could lose Faramir or Radagast. I need their willpower, is what the problem is. This deck is full of battle questing, but the willpower can come up short. So, okay, Winged Guardian. That's fine. I'm glad out of those cards, that's the one I lost. See, I built this deck so I could battle quest easily. And then it's like, well, if I make it to stage 3, hopefully I can beat the quest. But you got to make it to stage 3 first. That's a great card to see go away. That one, anytime you ready or exhaust or use an ability on the hero you attach that to, you raise your threat by 1. But anyway, I don't have a lot of willpower in this deck because my plan is make it to stage 3 and then worry about that. All right, sneak attack. Because if you try too hard to pack too much willpower into a deck like this, you won't make it to the spot where you need the willpower. You need to get to stage 3 first. So I've played this deck quite a bit, and it usually eventually can make it on stage 3. It might take a few rounds, but it can do it. Okay, what do we get? A Surgy City Street, so that's a 2-threat location, and then a 3-threat location. Okay, so I'm not getting swarmed by enemies. That's nice. Just, 1 around, you can handle that, and then I finally get around without 1. So that's 5-threat. I place 12 out of 13. That's nice. And then you have to travel to the city streets. The marketplace, you have to spend a resource to travel there. Kind of glad I didn't quest through. It's good for me right now to stick around at this stage for 1 more round. And I get a second sneak attack. Man, a Gandalf would be nice. Alrighty, so I do have now 4 leadership resources, and then I have also enough resources to put in Radagast. So I got my 2 big allies in. That was huge. I was worried about that. And I still have a resource on Gimli. But now, when I need to quest with willpower, I have some good willpower on the table. Alrighty, so I'm going to send 9. 9 against 3. And I need to make 3 progress. 2 on the active, 1 on the quest. I think I'll send 10. I think 4 is like the most I could reveal. I think there's a 4-threat location. Or I could surge. A 2-threat location could surge into another. Okay, man. Okay, another Pickpocket. So that adds 3 threat. So I make 4 progress, which is 1 more than I needed. He takes a damage from Thalion. The other thing about Thalion, when he does 1 damage to somebody, like that Pickpocket, he has 0 defense. So I only need to attack with a 1 to get him. So Thalion is just amazing, just knocking everybody down by 1. Alrighty, so side 3A told me to find an enemy. I always grab the Harbor Thug because he doesn't have any when engaged effect or when he attacks effect. So Harbor Thug is always the guy I grab when I advance to 3A. And then here we go. Okay, 3B, so it's regular questing. We cannot optionally engage enemies, so they all come in through engagement checks, which is terrible because a lot of these enemies are worse if you don't optionally engage them. And then after an enemy is revealed from the encounter deck, it's going to make an immediate attack against me. And I need to be holding on to the scroll to win, and I need to make 15 progress. Okay, so I am going to travel to the market square. It's going to spend my last resource. I'm going to lose that resource anyway because of the pickpocket, so I might as well spend it and travel there. And I also need to discard a card from my hand. So out of the cards in my hand, I really don't care which one I lose. Sneak attack, that's fine. I had 2 copies. Okay, so the pickpocket, he's a wimp. He's only attacking for 1. And I want to try to kill these guys. I definitely need to kill the pickpocket. But like I said, he only has 1 hit point left and no defense. So anyone who attacks for 1 can kill this guy. Let's take this one undefended. All right, no shadow. So that damage, I'll just put that on Thalion. And then I'm going to defend with Dyne against the Thug. No shadow on that one. There's that 4 threat location. And then Radagast attacks for 1, so he can kill the pickpocket. And then Gimli is attacking for 5 right now, because Dyne is exhausted, but 5 is enough. So there, killed both the enemies. Everyone's going to get some money. And now it's just a race. Like, I just want to quest as hard as I can and try to get out of here as fast as I can. So let's see. I would love a Gandalf. Okay, the eagles are coming, so I can search my top 5 for an eagle. I really can't afford any of these eagles except for that one. Can't afford an Eagles of the Misty Mountain right now. Even with Radagast's resource that I remember to put on him in a minute. So looking at my hand, not many options. I might as well put that Vassal of the Windlord into play using Radagast's resource. So there we go. He gets resource around. And then it's just, like I said, commit to the quest, commit as much willpower as possible, and get the heck out of here. So we're going to send 1, 2, 3, sending 2 of the eagles, even though they're currently questing for 0. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm sending those vassals because Faramir can boost them. So even though they're sending nothing right now. Okay, and we get... Crap. That's bad. Okay, so we get the Zealous Trader. He's going to make an immediate attack against me. And then when he engages me, he deals a damage to each of my allies. 2 damage if he can't be optionally engaged. And I'm not allowed to optionally engage. Okay, so this vassal that I left up is going to defend. No shadow. He's dead. I can play Valiant Sacrifice and maybe get a Hail of Stones or a Gandalf. Nope, I don't have a leadership resource, so it's got to be a Hail of Stones. And no, okay, I did not get it. But I do get to look through my top 5 for any eagles, and there isn't any. There's Hail of Stones. So it was there. I just hadn't been able to dig yet. Hadn't been able to dig into my deck very much. So that Hail of Stones, I could have exhausted, let's say, Dyne or Faramir and killed that guy. Dyne would have been the better choice, so I could still use Faramir to boost the willpower. Alright, so I'm questing against 2. Faramir's counting the number of characters that I committed to the quests, and we're going to boost my willpower by that amount. I'm going to clear that 1 threat, that 1 progress location, so I just move my marker up to make the math easier. And I make 11 out of 15. So that's great. So I just need to make 4 more progress and I win. But now this guy engages me, not optionally, and I have to deal 2 damage to all of my allies. So that's why I didn't want to defend with Radagast or Faramir earlier in this game when I could have against that pickpocket. I didn't want a shadow boosting the attack and dealing a damage to one of these allies because I knew there is this enemy that would be dealing 2 damage to my allies, and I didn't want to lose these guys. So I'm going to defend with Dyne. Please don't be bad. Okay, good. And then my plan is just to win next round. So it's okay, I'm still engaged with this guy. So as long as I can make 4 progress, we got this. We're out of here. We're moving on to the next quest. And I draw... Well, there he is. A wizard is never late. Okay, so I'm going to play Sneak Attack. And I'm going to sneak Gandalf in during the quest phase. And then I immediately forget that I'm doing this during the quest phase. So I draw 3 cards. And one of them is the envoy Pelargir, and one of them is a shadow cancellation, and one of them is a quick strike. But like I said, I forget I'm in the quest phase, so I play this envoy. It doesn't affect anything. So I'm doing the thing where I'm spending resources and then moving one back to Gimli, because he's my noble character. But yeah, just pretend that envoy didn't actually get played. Like I said, it doesn't matter. Gandalf's questing for 4, and then Ratty would be questing for 2 more. He gets a resource, so that's 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So let's just pretend I'm sending 11 instead of 12. And there we go. I just reveal a 2-threat enemy. So plenty of willpower, even without that envoy. And that's it. I make my progress, and I got the heck out of there. That harbor thug should have attacked me. I realized this after I made the video, but I did look at the shadow card, and there was no shadow effect. And I would have used Faramir to defend. So no change. And that's how I beat Peril and Pelargir. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was a good one for you, and I look forward to making the next one. Bye-bye.